All right, logged into Zoom. I believe we have the audio. What is the Latin verb audiare? To listen. Audio, audio. We have that in place. So this should be recording. And we are waiting patiently for Dave to arrive from Northern Ireland because Dave rather graciously, well, not that graciously, willingly, willingly said that he would go live with me, voice to voice, on a Zoom call, unedited, for the John George case. And the way I understood it, Dave was going to present evidence to me, irrefutable evidence that shows Johnny Smith must have been the shooter in the John George case. And I am more than willing to look at any evidence or just hear any argument that establishes that, because I have no dog in this fight, meaning my only gripe, two gripes in the John George case. Number one is I don't really understand, apart from the family, those that are wringing their hands in angst over what I would consider a pretty bad narco gangster that descends on Spain and ends up being blown away. That's what happens when you mix with the wrong crowd. I think most of the world would understand that. They'd be like, yeah, you know, one less bad boy in this world. So this one gripe I have, I don't understand why all these people are wringing their hands in grief for one John George. But the main reason was I never understood why. Why would it be that so many people who I would have thought come from a society where you wait for the trial, you wait for the evidence to be presented, you wait for the argument, you wait for the defense, the prosecution, the defense, the jury deliberation, the verdict, judges summing up. I mean, this is our judicial system. I would have thought everyone would reserve judgment until that day. Judgment in the sense of, yeah, fair enough. We think, we believe, we are pretty sure that so and so is guilty. But to go out there 100% and say, exactly who committed this heinous act, when to me, motive is not clear, time and place is not clear. Yeah, we know John George's body ended up in the lemon grove. I've heard both arguments. I've heard people say, I think Billy George himself absolutely convinced the body was taken there from somewhere else. Others say, I think Guardia Civil saying, no, 100% sure he died right here. He was killed here. So those kind of details. How did it happen? Where did it happen? Why did it happen? Who exactly was involved leading up to all this? All of the players involved. Who are these people that John George was mixing with when he was over there? Because it wasn't just Johnny Smith. Johnny Smith was one of them. Johnny Smith could be guilty as sin. Could be. But there are others that were in that business. And when I say that business, I'm thinking of Michal Mali and John George looking at guns imported from Slovakia. There are lots of others involved. And Mali was blown away. Now, that could have been by the same faction, if you like, that wanted John George gone. We don't know. My point is, we don't know any of the background to this. I suspect that the Guardia Civil in Alicante province do not know all of the background behind this. But they do have a good idea that the two men, Mali and Smith, were involved somehow. My only curiosity with this is, what do they know? What do they think they know? And what do they have no clue about? All of that, I believe, would come out in a trial. So until we have the trial, I'm just one of those not prepared to say, hey, can't be sure about anything in this case, because there's a lot of stuff we don't know and a lot of stuff not adding up. On the other hand, those that say it must be this one guy, I always say, well, how are you sure that the trigger man is Smith and not Mali? How do you know that? How do you know one is the accomplice and the other is the trigger man? I mean, we've read over and over again, Mali must be the accomplice. Smith must have been the trigger man. How do you know that? Unless you were there. As far as I know, nothing was caught on CCTV, and this is a big problem. If you're not sure who was present when the crime occurred, it is very hard to convince 7 out of 9 jurors you do know who was present when the crime committed. It's not impossible, but it's tough. It's tough. Anyway, it is now where I am 6:35. The Zoom meeting with Dave from Northern Ireland was for 6:30 my time, 5:30 his time. So what I will do is leave it there because it looks like Dave is not going to show up. Doesn't surprise me because in the past I've had a few people, whether it be the Jay Slater case or whether it be the John George case, and they say, sure, I will talk to you live, no problem at all. Only one person's ever done that, and that was Francesca. And of course, Francesca knew in the Jay Slater case that I was not adversarial. I just wanted her take on that bizarre episode she had with one Chris Pennington. Yeah, so to date, Francesca, the only one that has gone live to have a chat. Dave said he would. Dave said he would send me a PDF of all his evidence texts, I guess, I don't know, text messages, phone messages from the likes of Madison. He didn't send me that. I noticed on TikTok his account is now private. I can't message him because he's turned that onto private. I messaged him galore yesterday when he was all hot to come and debate on a Zoom call. We were exchanging messages aplenty. I got some screenshots of that. So I've got the screenshots that say, hey, here we are in contact. Got his email address, wrote to him, and have not had a reply. So you know what I'm going to do? I am going to end this now, and I'm going to check my email and see if there's anything in there, and maybe we'll do this again. But for now, Dave, sorry to have missed you, but yeah, I guess in the end, like everyone else in the John George case and the Jay Slater case, if you're adversarial to me, you just can't find the balls to do this. Is that what's going on here, Dave? I don't know. Let's see what happens. Hasta luego, adios, hasta la vista. See you next time.